Let's execute an immediate high-gear tactical vector shift away from warm coastal operations and deep-sea salvages and step directly onto the freezing, calculation-heavy tracking grids of subarctic isolation, small-town suspicion, and elite procedural police work. We are crossing the threshold into the stark, wind-scoured landscape of the North Atlantic with Raven Black, the exceptional, rapid-pulsing thriller that stands as the explosive first milestone case file in Ann Cleeves' legendary, award-winning Shetland Island Mysteries. This standalone deployment delivers a chilling, deeply personal exploration of historical community trauma, hidden small-town dynamics, and intense psychological claustrophobia. Let's lay out the strategic narrative grid. If you are a fan of slow-burn, atmospheric police procedural thrillers where a quiet, hyper-focused detective must navigate an absolute maze of multi-generational secrets and localized paranoia, where an analytical protagonist uses precise investigative tradecraft and witness profiling to unmask an elusive killer, and where the author utilizes an incandescent reopened cold case echo diagnostic routine to test our hero's structural survival perimeters, this book is engineered to lock you in. Cleeves completely dominates the Shetland noir dynamic, capturing the heart-racing emotional momentum, crushing environmental isolation, and heavy bureaucratic friction popularized by genre vanguards like Peter May, Val McDermott, Ian Rankin, and Ragnar Jonassen, while treating real-world crime scene forensics, localized subcultures, and raw island psychology with absolute technical mastery. The narrative tracking grid zeroes in on our central protagonist, Detective Inspector Jimmy Perez. He is the ultimate blueprint of remote island law enforcement resilience, a dedicated investigator operating under a strict calculation-heavy routine to maintain order across an archipelago of isolated fishing communities and rugged coastlines. His daily workspace is an unforgiving ecosystem of towering sea cliffs, bleak peat moors, and sudden blinding winter squalls. His internal defense mechanisms are locked down tight behind a quiet, observant exterior, his entire analytical focus strictly consumed by parsing local gossip, monitoring transit ports, and guarding his own quiet personal vulnerabilities from external observation tracking networks. The spark ignites when his active scanning perimeter registers a devastating community anomaly on a freezing morning. A young local girl is found strangled in the snow, her body surrounded by scavenging ravens. The diagnostic metrics of the island flatline instantly. The crime scene coordinates closely mirror the unresolved disappearances and dark rumors that have haunted the local parish for over a decade. Suspicion turns immediately to a vulnerable, socially isolated old man named Magnus Bain, who has long been monitored by the community's informal surveillance networks. But Perez's internal monitoring system registers that this isn't a simple open-shut case. A calculation-heavy regulation is approaching, prepared to execute a total delete of the island's peaceful facade. The tactical parameters instantly explode as the investigation breaches the tightly guarded circles of the island's elite, transforming quiet crofts into a volatile psychological pressure cooker. Our veteran investigator is forced to deploy his massive intuitive tradecraft, observation skills, and intense interrogation stamina to map out the true timelines of the community. When deceitful family members, defensive neighbors, and a looming influx of mainland media teams threaten to collapse his tracking vectors, Perez's survival instincts engage their final deployment tracks. Every late-night conversation behind closed doors, every desperate audit of historical choices made by the island's founding families, and every fiercely intense moment of tracking a suspect's movements across the frozen landscape carries massive operational weight. What follows is an exceptional, high-stakes war of perspective and raw human grit. We watch the island's mental perimeters completely unwrapped as Perez realizes the threat isn't an external predator. It is the inescapable gravity of the community's own dark past. While he attempts to smooth over local vulnerabilities with devastating analytical force, the overarching countdown clock hits a breathtaking climax, proving that the force running the cover-up has mapped the town's historical blind spots perfectly. To survive the impending exposure and outmaneuver the fallout, our resilient hero must unleash an absolute, unyielding defense of justice. It is a police procedural, Nordic Noir, psychological suspense, small-town mystery masterpiece that treats deep investigative logistics and intense psychological friction with elite precision. The tension here burns with a sharp, calculation-heavy intensity. We are talking about that high-frequency, everyone knows everyone but someone is a killer energy, where a sudden pause in a local pub conversation, an unexpected discovery of an old secret diary, or a heavy, possessive realization that a lifelong neighbor has been lying to you for years carries massive structural weight. Cleeves writes with an exceptionally fresh, vivid, and beautifully blunt voice, perfectly capturing the dark, heavy atmosphere of isolated island cottages, the emotional chill of unspoken generational guilt, and the distinct, subtle scent of peat smoke, saltwater, freezing mud, and pure, unadulterated suspense.
What truly elevates this milestone series opener into elite territory is the author's unmatched ability to balance realistic sociological depth alongside a breathtaking narrative pace and deep conceptual hooks. Our protagonist doesn't rely on unbelievable superficial Hollywood superhero tropes. His immense intelligence, quiet empathy, and profound commitment to his home match the complexity of the rural underworld he dominates step for step, making his choices to risk everything to uncover the truth feel profoundly authentic and deeply gripping. The pacing moves with calculated momentum, tracking intense conversational standoffs and breathtaking tactical breakthroughs before ratcheting up to an absolute world-shattering conclusion that delivers total, hard-earned closure to his horizon. Raven Black is the definitive pro-level upgrade your high-stakes mystery and atmospheric crime fiction library demands right now. It is elegant, immensely fast-paced, and utterly unclickdownable. It proves that when your entire sanctuary is targeted by the ghosts of your own history, the most revolutionary play you can execute is to audit the data, trust your protective instincts, and fight like hell to uncover the truth. So, secure your personal reading sanctuary, review your emotional defensive perimeters, open your Kindle, and prepare to study the secret.